Today I'm going to be answering the question, can a marriage survive infidelity? Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified whenever we publish new videos. Hi, my name is Emily, and I unfortunately know firsthand what experiencing infidelity feels like. Several years ago, I actually discovered that my husband had been having an affair. And although this time was very difficult for both of us, we ultimately were able to save our marriage and are quite happy today. So the question you are asking yourself is, can my marriage survive despite the infidelity? Well, the answer is yes, but it's conditional. You see, both parties have to want to move forward and be willing to put in the work. In fact, what I've learned about divorce is that oftentimes it's not an infidelity itself that destroys a marriage, but the issues that arise from it afterwards. For instance, issues like the pain that an infidelity can cause the wrong spouse. This pain can stay present in some people for years, long after the affair has even ended. Also, the issue of trust is huge when it comes to salvaging a marriage. So, for instance, I had to battle with being able to trust my husband, John, again after knowing what he had done. And learning to trust again doesn't happen for everyone, right? So this issue is major. Lastly, being able to forgive can also destroy a marriage. From my experience, I've found that even though pretty much everyone forgives their spouse for an affair at some point, those who have a harder time forgiving tend to be those more at risk for a divorce. Now, there are some steps you can take to move forward once the affair has come to light. The first of which is coming clean. So, what I mean by this is both spouses need to be honest with each other entirely. The spouse who committed the adultery needs to be honest about the nature of it, i.e., was it sexual, emotional, maybe both? What were they seeking? And the wrong spouse needs to be open about the pain it has caused them and what they need moving forward. Being able to communicate this is tough, trust me, but it helps you get talking. And starts laying the foundation for stronger communication and honesty. The second step is allowing for grief. So, whoever had the affair needs to allow their partner time to grieve, so to speak. Naturally, when you find out your spouse has had an affair, the world can kind of seem like it's over and you're going to be devastated, of course. You're going to be in a period of not knowing if your marriage will even survive, and that will bring on grief of some sort. Both spouses need to accept that grief is not linear. And what I mean by this is that some days will be better than others. There is no timeline or playbook on how to handle grief. A big thing that John and my marriage counselor taught us is to not be discouraged by bad days that seemingly kind of come out of nowhere in your journey. So just because we had a really difficult day after maybe 5 days of feeling encouraged and really committed, it doesn't mean that we've taken steps backwards, right? It's just part of the process. The third step is respecting boundaries. This is pretty self-explanatory, but what this means is that the wrong spouse will likely disconnect from their partner both emotionally and sexually for some time after learning of the affair. The spouse who committed the adultery simply needs to respect this and allow their spouse to engage when they're ready. However, it is important that the adulterer is still supportive and present. Don't abandon your partner. Lastly, when you're ready, and if you both agree to work on repairing your marriage, you need to seal the cracks. Figure out where the relationship went wrong. Why did the affair happen to begin with? What was the root of the issue? In order to move forward and mend what's broken, you must also recommit to one another and be prepared to work together for the common goal of saving and strengthening the relationship. Also, I really want to stress the importance of not underestimating the power of couples therapy. Seriously, therapy forces you to actively work on your issues and openly communicate. The right therapist can be huge in bettering your marriage. Give it at least 4 appointments before throwing in the towel if you're not happy with the therapy. And even then, I just recommend getting a new therapist. So just remember that if you and your partner are both committed to saving your marriage, anything is possible. So, in summary, yes, your marriage can survive infidelity, but both parties have to be committed and want the same outcome. There are also important steps that should be taken, such as coming clean, allowing for grief, respecting boundaries, and eventually sealing the cracks. Now, these tips are helpful and they really helped me and John in dealing with our marriage crisis, but they're not the only strategy we relied on, which is why we created an ebook that is aimed at helping you navigate this really difficult time in your marriage. John and I put together this 100% free ebook that has 5 action plans you can utilize to save your marriage. This ebook is concise and to the point and addresses 5 behaviors that are absolutely detrimental to any marriage. Again, this book is aimed at helping couples survive those difficult first couple of weeks or months in a rocky marriage. You can access the complete ebook by typing into your browser www.defeatingdivorce.com or by clicking the link in the video description below. Again, my name is Emily, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to see more helpful content on how to save your marriage. Comment below if you have any questions for me. I'm not a professional, but John and I are happy to help out where we can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.